Happy Week 10, everybody. Joseph Robert, the Fantasy Football Counselor. We're talking starts and sits for Fantasy Football Week 10. Going to give you all the optimal players at each position. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys click subscribe. Leave your questions below. I'll try to get to as many as I humanly possibly can if you are watching on YouTube. All right, guys? There is a giveaway, huge giveaway this Sunday, guys. Tyreek signed speed helmet. Beautiful matte finish. You can see this. And a Darren Waller, guys, signed jersey, okay? Beautiful giveaways this weekend and ongoing. I'm going to keep giving them away. So, listen, compliments at Pristine Auction. Go to pristineauction.com. Use promo code SWAGLION. You're entered for all of these draws moving forward. That's pristineauction.com. Use promo code SWAGLION, guys. Go do that right now. You're entered to win these, and the winners announced on my Instagram. You'll be tagged on my Instagram, and the draws are ongoing. So once you enter pristineauction.com, you go sign up for an account. Use promo code SWAGLION. You're entered for all draws moving forward, guys. Amazing giveaways, all right, guys? And also, if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Thumbs up helps the channel. And finally, manscaped.com. Use promo code. This is very easy, guys. You can't forget it. It's Shower Lion because I always use this in the shower. I thought it was a perfect code. And Christmas is around the corner, guys. Shower Lion, promo code Shower Lion. Amazing products, guys. I've been using their shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. Smells amazing. I love it. Best body wash I've ever used. Go treat yourself right now. Trimmers, ball wipes, underwear, everything you guys need to stay fresh. Manscaped.com, promo code Shower Lion. Okay, can't forget that. All right. All right, let's go into the optimal starts and sits at each position. I'm going to give you guys, the optimal plays and obviously the guys that, have tougher matchups. It's up to you guys to make the right decision. I can't believe we're in week 10. Week 10 already. This is absolutely it's absolutely insane. Week 10. There was some breaking news, not that it really matters, but since he's a diva and the media just is up his ass all the time, Odell Beckham is on the Rams right now, which doesn't really matter because he's a wide receiver 4 there behind Van Jefferson, Woods, and Cooper Kupp. I don't see how they don't need him. They've got wide receivers. Odell Beckham has averaged 3 touchdowns per year over the past 5 years. He's only finished 2 seasons out of his, I think, 8 seasons. He's been playing since 2013. Only finished 2 complete seasons. That's it. He's done. He had the one catch, made him famous, very marketable. And then since then, the rest is history. He's done nothing. Okay, he's been injured. And now he's on the Rams. How I feel about it, Cooper Kupp's the guy. If anything, he'll, Odell be a pest on a couple plays. I don't see him even staying healthy past 3-4 games. So Odell Beckham, waste of money. I thought he was going to go to the CFL or retire. There's no way I imagine this. And he wants that free ride from the Rams, which is absolutely ludicrous. Just the most overrated player in history. He just wants to chase the ring kind of the same way Antonio Brown did, same way Shady McCoy did. It's just BS, man. They don't deserve it. They haven't earned it, and they're just going for the ride. So that's my thoughts on Odell. He is overrated. He's not a true wide receiver 2, 3. I give him a wide receiver 3 if he's healthy, but again, I'm not sold on him. All right, let's start off with the quarterback position. Who do you start? Who's got the good matchups? Again, if you're torn between this guy or that guy, couple criteria. There's a criteria here. Take a look at the matchup, which I'm going to help you guys with, okay? Take a look at your gut feeling. Which one do you feel? Which one's been more consistent, okay? If you're torn between 2 players that are equally as good or could do really well. For example, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, both got great matchups this week. Who do I go with? I look at the stats. Both been relatively consistent across the board, right? Dak, a little more, has shown some signs of injuries. I'd probably lean a little bit Brady versus Washington over Dak versus Atlanta. Again, it's a coin toss, but it's up to you to kind of do some research if you're torn between 2 players. That's kind of the secret formula, okay? Look at matchup, look at volume, look at opportunity, look at consistency over the past 3-4 weeks, and then go with that decision, okay? All right, so Tom Brady, great matchup. Trevor Lawrence, great matchup. Had a bad week last week. Trevor Lawrence, 5 points. Playing Indy, good matchup. Dak Prescott, great matchup. Matt Ryan, start Matt Ryan, great matchup. 32 points last week. Playing Dallas this week, great matchup. Trevor Siemian, 17-point week last week. Good matchup versus Tennessee. Mac Jones, don't really trust him. Hasn't been phenomenal for fantasy. Had an 8-pointer last week. Good matchup this week versus Cleveland. Carson Wentz also does have a good matchup this week. When you look at Carson Wentz, he's been really, really consistent. A guy that I was mentioning would have a good year if healthy. Great O-line, good situation. Carson Wentz versus Jacksonville, great matchup. Matt Stafford, San Francisco, great matchup. Derek Carr versus KC, great matchup. Guys like Josh Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, all mid-range matchups. Guys that have it in tough. Mike White, a lot of hype around this kid. Playing Buffalo, he does have it in tough, but you never know, right? Buffalo, I don't know, man. They lose to Jacksonville. I don't know if I really trust them. So Mike White, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, P.J. Walker, all have it in tough, including Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, who, again, was banged up. Be careful with him if you do start him, if he does play. Jimmy Garoppolo, Pat Mahomes, Ryan Tannehill, all tougher matchups. Pat Mahomes, again, 10 points last week, 15 the week before, 10 the week before. Pat Mahomes has not been consistent. Be cautious with him if you have him. If you have a better option, maybe consider it, because, again, he's been mediocre at best, and he's got a tough matchup. So something to be aware, okay? Something to be aware. So don't say, well, Joe, I had Tom Brady and Mahomes. I just started the better quarterback. I thought Mahomes. Well, now you know, right? Mahomes does have a tougher matchup. Brady has the better one. Your Brady, your Carr, your Stafford, your Dak, your Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, easier matchups. Okay, just so you're aware if you're trying to make a decision. Moving on to running backs, guys. The ones that I like based on matchup, Najee Harris. Love him. Got to start him, even in DFS if you're playing daily fantasy sports. DraftKings, FanDuel, Najee Harris. Love him. This week, being consistent as they come. Great matchup versus Detroit. Love it, okay? Dalvin Cook, there's some off-field issues. We talked about it in the last show. Dalvin Cook, a great matchup. If he plays, he should be good to go. If he's not, you never know. Things could rise up. Off-field issue stuff could linger, but I think he should be good to go. Good matchup this week, okay? Aaron Jones, crappy week last week. Good matchup this week, though. Might be a bounce back. Javonte, Melvin Gordon's been a bit of a committee. It's annoying, I know. But Javonte Williams, great value for DFS. Both of them have a great matchup versus Philly, okay? Zeke Elliott, phenomenal matchup this week versus Atlanta. Great matchup. Austin Eckler, who I'm actually learning a lot of respect for because he really does care about the fantasy football community. I think I read somewhere where he came out and said something like, I care about fantasy because it reflects on my numbers. And very common sense, guys. Very smart, like his attitude. Austin Eckler, easy matchup this week as well. Daryl Henderson, relatively easy matchup, and Daryl Williams, relatively easy matchup, okay? Jonathan Taylor, been red hot mid-range matchup, but you got to start him. He's awesome. Michael Carter, there's been a lot of on the fence about him. He's been kind of having a coming out party. He had a coming out party a couple weeks ago, had a 10-pointer last week. Michael Carter, if you don't have another running back, I'd start him, but he does have it in tough versus Buffalo. Just be aware, arguably the toughest matchup versus position. So that's something to monitor this week for Michael Carter and his future and how he's going to do for fantasy and reality, because at the end of the day, if he does well against Buffalo, we got something special here, okay? Deandre Swift has got a tough matchup. Be aware. James Robinson should be back. If he's not, Carlos Hyde. Either way, be cautious. Tough matchup versus Indy's rush defense. Christian CMC McCaffrey got some volume. I think he got like 14, 15 attempts last week. Had 15 points. Nothing exciting. But Christian McCaffrey, tough matchup versus position. Adrian Peterson, Tennessee, came back. Got a touchdown last week. Derrick Henry's gone. Peterson and the running backs there for Tennessee have it tough against New Orleans rush defense, okay? Antonio Gibson been playing like crap this year. Has it in tough. Him and McKissick versus Tampa Bay's rush defense. Be aware. Cornell Patterson, who has really wowed me and surprised me, does have it in tough this week versus Dallas, and Alvin Kamara and Damian Harrison Stevenson, the New England running backs, have it in tough versus Cleveland. Something to be aware of, guys. Patterson, Harris, Antonio Gibson, Christian McCaffrey, Michael Carter, DeAndre Swift, Carlos Hyde, Robinson, all these guys have it in tough. Just be aware of that, okay? Just be aware. If you have other options, go for it. But I understand it's very slim at that running back position. So for year long, I got to start him. For DFS, be cautious. And you can use this for DraftKings and FanDuel to really help you. I did a show on that, but this will also help you as well, okay? Start him, sit him at the wide receiver position. So much hype about Cooper Kupp. Understandably so. He's a top wide receiver for fantasy and leading in yardage and all that fun stuff. Been consistent as they come. A guy that I told you to draft in the 4th round in 16 rounds, 3rd, 4th round. I said fade Robert Woods, go for Kupp, because Woods was ranked higher in a lot of the magazines, consensus rankings, and all that stuff. Cooper Kupp is the guy. They've acquired Odell. A lot of people asking if Odell's going to be a factor. Maybe, but I'm not really concerned because Odell has not been a factor for 5 years. Why are we to suppose that he will be now? I'm not concerned. Cooper Kupp's the one. He's got that rapport with Stafford, which is good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I would bench Odell. I wouldn't even start Odell, but it is what it is. We're going to have to monitor that situation. But Cooper Kupp does have it in tough versus San Fran, 9th hardest versus position. Let's take a look at the good matchups here. At the wide receiver position, Chris Godwin got it in pretty good this week, and all of the wide receivers that are starting versus Washington that are on Tampa Bay got it in good, but it's roulette there. We don't know who's gonna be the winner every week. A.J. Brown got it in good this week versus the Saints. Marvin Jones from Jacksonville and Jacksonville wide receivers got it in good versus Indy. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams got it in good. Keenan Allen kind of been the guy over the past 2 weeks. Mike Williams has really done nothing. Very boom or bust, but he's been ice cold Mike Williams. Again, they do have a good matchup, but just be cautious, okay? Russell Gage and Zucchini from Atlanta. Alameda Zucchini, whatever his name is. They've got a good matchup. And Zucchini, Sharp, Gage, those guys getting a mix of stuff, but I do like Kyle Pitts, the most wide receiver option for Atlanta, okay? Amon St. Brown had an 8-pointer last week. Detroit absolutely sucks, but they do have a good matchup this week. Michael Pittman, been red hot. Great matchup, something to consider. Make sure you start him. Terry McLaurin has been kind of, up and down. Had a 7-pointer last week, 28 the week before. Terry McLaurin, very hard to trust. 12th easiest matchup versus position. Tough matchups. Corey Davis, Jets wide receivers. I mean, they've got their hands full against Buffalo. Adam Thielen Jefferson got it in tough versus the Chargers. Be aware of that. I understand Jefferson had a big week last week. Well, not big, but 17-ish points. Just be cautious there, okay? Tyreek Hill's got it in tough this week. Had a terrible week last week. 7 points. Got it in tough this week, just so you're aware. Hopkins, A.J. Green, wide receivers from Arizona, got it in tough versus Carolina secondary. A lot of people asking if they should start Jerry Jeudy. 5th hardest matchup versus position, just so you know when you're trying to make a decision on them. Be careful. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett got it in tough this week versus Green Bay, but both having good weeks last time they came out. Debo Samuel, 7th hardest matchup versus position, Mr. Consistent. Had a bit of a down week last week, 11 points, but Debo Samuel definitely consider. Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, 8th hardest matchup versus position versus the Jets. Their secondary is actually not that bad. And like I said, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Odell, and all those guys got it in tough this week as well. Cleveland, a lot of people ask about Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, man, if you can get him, grab him. He had 17 points last week. Will be a prime target there for Baker Mayfield, but they do have a tough matchup this week. 10th hardest versus position, and then Adams and the wide receivers there for Green Bay also have it in tough. 11th hardest versus position. Tight ends, guys. Start your best tight end, period, okay? Don't worry about it, but I'll give you guys some starts and sits here, just top based on matchup. Waller, easy. Kyle Pitts, easy matchup. Dawson Knox, easy matchup. Dan Arnold, easy matchup. Travis Kelce, easy matchup. Noah Fant, easy matchup. Guys that got it in a little bit tougher. Hawkinson, a little bit tougher there versus Pittsburgh. George Kittle, mid-range matchup versus the Rams. Just something to be aware of. Let's see if there's anyone else. Adam Troutman, New Orleans versus Tennessee. It is a bit of a tougher matchup for him in that matchup. Gronkowski, if he's back and healthy, mid-range matchup for him. I'm just trying to see who's got it in tough, just so you're aware. David Njoku's got it in tough. Dallas Goddard has got it in tough. Philly versus Denver, just so you're aware. I know people are starting Goddard. Jared Cook's got it in pretty tough versus Minnesota. And, that's pretty much it here. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else I missed. Just be cautious. But again, guys like Kyle Pitts, I would definitely start him if you've got him. Pat Freiermuth, I would start him. Hawkinson, you can't bench these guys. They are your starting tight ends. I would start him. And Pitts has actually got a pretty good matchup versus Dallas. Okay, start those guys. If you got a starting tight end that's been consistent, start him. Doesn't matter the matchup. Tight end is slimmer, trimmer. There's only a handful of tight ends that really get it done in the passing game. Make sure you start them. Defensively, the matchups that I like the best at defense, Bills versus the Jets, love them unless White comes out and is phenomenal. Colts versus Jacksonville's, love them. Cardinals versus Carolina, love them. Steelers versus Detroit, absolutely love them. Raiders versus KC, Cowboys, and Eagles. Okay, so Eagles versus Denver, Cowboys versus Atlanta. Well, again, that one I'm a little cautious about because Matt Ryan can kind of go off sometimes. I like the Raiders versus KC because Pat Mahomes has been kind of cold, so that one's a little cautious. But Steelers, Cardinals, Colts, and Bills. Steelers, Cardinals, Colts, and Bills. Great defenses if you need to stream one. Also, Browns versus New England. That could be okay. Buccaneers versus Washington if you need to stream one. and possibly Saints versus Tennessee, but Tennessee's kind of been, on and off, okay? That's it. I mean, those are your starts and sits for the week, guys. Make sure you guys start and sit the right person. Week 10 is important. A lot of people need wins. 16 rounders are crushing it. I don't know about everybody else. Didn't get 16 rounds, but go out there, guys. Dominate your leagues, guys. If you are new to the channel, make sure you guys click subscribe. Also, Google Joe Camo Show, Joekamo Show. Going to be doing a lot of content, interviews, a lot of cool stuff on that channel as well. All right, guys, subscribe, thumbs up. I'm out.